Hi kids, today we're going to be solving perimeter in lesson 17. So we are skipping lesson 16 and jumping to 17. So get your learn books and get ready to find perimeter. Today we are asking the question, answering the question, how can we find perimeter if one of the side lengths, or maybe more than one of the side lengths, is not labeled for us? So instead of using a ruler, we're going to use some logic and reasoning and figure out the length of unknown sides. So before we do that, I want to remind you that if I were to tell you that this side was 4 inches and ask you what this side was, you would say, oh, I can see it's a square, and so this side is 4 inches too. So even that is some logic and reasoning. You're saying, oh, I can see it. I can tell that this is equal to that. Sometimes though, when we're doing math, I've seen over the years that kids have a hard time seeing the connection between this length here and this length here. So when the shape, it's like when the shape is not a regular polygon, like a square, or when it's not something that they recognize quickly, like a rectangle. So now I have this odd shape. This is not a regular polygon, is it? Kids don't always see the connection between the 4 inches here and the length of this and this. So I just want to, before we start the problems, I want you to see the connection. So what I did is I took a Post-it note and I cut it in half. Okay, so that's a big clue right there. If I cut this in half, 4 divided by 2 means that this side would be 2 and this side would be 2. But what if you didn't know? What if you didn't take a ruler and someone didn't tell you you cut it in half? Well, usually in your math problems, they'll give you a clue. So maybe they'll say that this is 2 inches, this length right here. And then you need to figure out what this one is. And in our work today, we're going to label the unknowns with a letter. So I'll call this letter A. And we're not even thinking about this or that, okay? I just want you to think for a second, how do we find an unknown part? Well, we have to think about what we know. We know that the total length was 4. And I'm going to draw a tiny whole part diagram because I know this is what you were used to in 2nd grade. We know the total is 4, and we can see one of the parts is 2 inches. And the unknown part is letter A. So when we know the whole and we have a part, we subtract, or count on, we subtract to find the unknown part. So A is 2. We're going to use this idea of finding an unknown part in our lesson today. So this is a very easy picture to see it. And in fact, kids, if I could magically, well, I can because it's a Post-it note, I could hold this up to here and we could completely see, oh yeah, it is right. This part we called 2 inches, and this part was 2 inches, and they do equal 4. So for some reason, when the shapes get weirder, sometimes kids don't see the connection between this length and these lengths. So we're going to have to make that connection today. What if one side length is not labeled? We need to figure it out. Let's try it with a different problem. Oh, looks like some of my numbers got erased, so I'll just... rewrite that for you. Okay, so here we have a shape, a polygon with more lengths labeled. We have 5 centimeters at the bottom, 3 centimeters here, 2 centimeters here, 1 centimeter here. So part of learning how to do this is just getting used to reading how the problems are labeled. It might take you some time to get used to knowing that the 2 goes with this length and the 3 goes with that length. And so that's why we practice a lot, right? All right, so to find the perimeter, we need to add up all the side lengths. And right now, we only have the ones I've outlined in red. So we are looking for this side length and this side length, because perimeter is the boundary around the shape. So far I know, okay, I have 5 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus whatever A and B are, but we don't know what those are yet. So we need to use logic and reasoning. So just like our post-it note example, we can assume that if this side is 5, this top, if it were to go all the way across, would also be 5. But it doesn't go all the way across. It stops right here. So if the total is not 5, we need to subtract this length, and it's given right here. This length is shown at the bottom. So we use what is labeled, we use what's labeled right here to help us figure out part B. So to find B, we would do the whole length taking away this part. If we take that away, we'll be left with this part. So we can see that B is 3 centimeters. I'll label it on the inside because I'm running out of space. So this part is 3. Now we know that part, and I'm going to add it down here to my little equation that I made. And now we need to figure out what A is. Okay, just to clean this up a little bit, I'm going to erase some of my old work so that it isn't quite so messy. I know it's hard to see sometimes. So now we're looking for the length of A from here to here. Well, we are going to have to look at the opposite side to find the clues. I can see one clue right here, this side. This is opposite of A, and so is this. It's just extended out further. But we're only measuring how tall this shape is. So let's take the height on the opposite sides. 3, to find A, we would do 3 plus 1. This was the height on the opposite side. So A equals 4. So now I have, I'll put this over here because I ran out of space. Now I have found the boundary of my entire shape. And I can add up all the lengths. 5 and 1 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. 11 plus 3 is 14. And 14 plus 4 equals 18. So how do you find the perimeter when there are unknown side lengths? You need to reason and think through to find the side lengths, and then you can add up to find the perimeter. Okay, so that was a sample problem. The last sample problem I'm going to do for you is one that you were assigned to do in your Learn book, and I'm just going to use the exit ticket for this last example because it's a big page and I think you can see it easily when I'm talking through it. So I'm on page 89 in my Learn book. Why don't you pause and try that one now, and then check your work with me when you're done. So pause the video and finish page 89. Okay, it said that you were to label the unknown side lengths and then find the perimeter of the shaded rectangle. So we have side length A to figure out and B to figure out. And we're going to use the opposite sides shown to help us solve for A. So I'll draw my A like this. A, meters, certain number, an unknown number of meters. So let's see. If we want to know A, we need to take the total below and subtract the part we see. So 12 minus 5 will give us the unknown part. So that equals 7. So they want us to label that. So this part here is 7 meters. And then this side here, let's see what B is. Let's use the opposite side to help us solve for the unknown part. The opposite side length is 14. Whoops, 14. Here's the total. And subtract the part they give us, 14 minus 6, and that will tell us the unknown part. So 14 minus 6 is 8. So B equals 8 meters. Now we've figured out the unknown side lengths. So that's the first step. But we need to find the perimeter of the shaded rectangle. So this time we're not worried about what is the perimeter of the whole thing. The directions say the shaded part. Did you catch that when you were working on the problem? So if this is 7, then this part down here is 7. I can tell these are square corners. Square corners. So this is a rectangle. It's not a square, but it does have square corners. So this is 7, and then if this side is 8, this side is 8. And if I need the shaded portion, so let's see, we could say the perimeter of the shaded portion is 7 plus 8 plus 7 plus 8. Well, when I join these up in my mind, I know that's 15, and if I double 15, I know that that's 30. So I've labeled the unknown side lengths. I found the perimeter of the shaded part. So my final answer is the shaded part has a perimeter of 30 meters. So that's a large figure in real life. Okay, so let's go back and look at some of the other problems. Hopefully you got that. You know, if you missed this clue about shaded part, maybe you found the perimeter of the entire square. Or maybe you found the perimeter of the white part. So this is just one more big clue to read the directions so carefully. Stop and think. What are they asking me to find? Let's go back to page 87. This is what you'll be doing on your own. The shapes below are made up of rectangles. Label the unknown side lengths and write and solve an equation to find the perimeter of each shape. So for these problems, you're finding the perimeter of the entire shape. But there are some unknown parts. This is almost exactly like my post-it note example, except they made the unknown be on the top instead of my example. The unknown was over here, wasn't it? So let's think about what we know. If this side is 3, look on the opposite side. We can see that this much is worth 2. So if we're looking for an unknown part and the total is 3 and a part is 2, that means this length here is 1. This tall length is 1. Now let's work on finding this length. Okay, let's look at the opposite sides. If the bottom total is 4, and the part they do tell us is 2. So the opposite sides, 4 and 2. That means that this unknown part right here must also be 2. So now we have labeled the unknown sides. Okay, we found that this is 1 and this is 2. Sometimes, kids, I see my students just guessing without understanding that no, there is an accurate measurement. You can't just guess by what it looks like. The math we did to solve this height right here, I'm going to label this A. To find A, we did the total on this side minus the given part on this side to find what's left. And to find B, we are not guessing. To find this length B, we took the total. Here's my equation for B. To find B, we took the total that they gave us and subtracted the part they showed us and found the unknown part. So these labels of 1 and 2 were not, I didn't guess. I didn't guess that 4 was split in half and this is 2. And I didn't guess that, oh, well, maybe it's 1. I did math and reasoned through it with calculations. Now, the next step. We have all the lengths. Let's add them all up. Okay, so I'll start here. We have 3 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2, the one we found, plus 1 plus 2. So here's my quick equation. And you can check your work. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 centimeters. Okay, so that is how I did that one. Will you please try B? So pause the video and try to find the perimeter of B and check your work with me. Okay, so we have some known side lengths and some unknown side lengths. I'm going to label this one A and this height right here B because they are unknown. I guess we have another one too, but this one isn't hard to see because the opposite side is 2 feet. We can just see it there. It's opposite. But we do need to solve for A. And to solve for A, I'm thinking of, maybe I'll do this with something colored just for this problem. To find A, I need to use what I see here and here and here. So A is the missing length. A is the missing length. And it's directly related to 5 up on top. So these are related to each other. They're opposite, aren't they? So let's take the total that we know. The total we know was 5, and we are going to subtract the part they show us. So we have a 2 and a 2, that's 4. If we take away 5, well, let me say that better. If we take away 4 from 5, the total we know minus the parts they show us, that will give us the unknown part. So the measurement of A is 1 foot. And I did not guess. I can see it. I can reason through it. B is a little bit easier because there's a pairing side here and the opposite side is already given. Okay, I guess I'm going to write it on the inside because it's a little crowded there. So B is 1 foot. A is 1 foot. And now I can add up all these lengths I can't miss a single one of them. And then I will have the boundary of the shape or the perimeter. So I'll start here. 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, the B we figured out, plus 2 plus 2 plus 5 for the top. Okay, we're just joining large amounts, so I'm actually going to talk through my mental math. I see 5 right there. I see another 5 right there and a 5 right there. So 5, 10, 15, and one more. The perimeter is 16 feet. All right. So that's how hopefully you got that one right. That's how I am thinking through these. And now I'm going to leave these other ones for you to solve. Let me know if you have any questions. And I hope you enjoy finding the unknown side length for perimeter. Have a great day.